Hi guys, and welcome to my house. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sage. I'm new here on YouTube and I upload organizing and cooking videos every Sunday. In today's video, I wanted to share with you some tips and tricks that I use in my car to help me stay organized and to be prepared for situations that can come up. Tip number 1, the in-case kit. In the trunk of my car, I keep this little cube tote that I got from Walmart. They're just a couple of bucks. And inside of it, I keep things that I might need in case of an emergency or while I'm out and about, in daily life. So I keep things like this little, it's like a sheet, and I can use it either to protect something I'm hauling or, to protect my butt if I'm sitting on something. I also have a toolkit. I got this container from the dollar store and I just put my own tools in it. It's pretty handy. I don't know how to use the tools on my car, but I have had situations where somebody's helped me with my tools before. I also have one of these dog watering bowls. It's the same kind of thing that I used in my picnic video. If you haven't seen that, you can check that puppy out. And I also keep this tote that has my jumper cables in it, and I just reused a bag that I had one of those like spa kits that you get with all the gift kits, and I keep it in there because they get oily and I don't want to dirty up everything else. I have a hat and some toilet paper. It's, I know it sounds kind of weird, but it comes in handy if you're stuck on the side of the road or you go on a picnic or something. And I keep it in a plastic bag because nobody wants dirty toilet paper. And I have a lint roller. I have pets, so sometimes it comes in handy, especially for guests who aren't used to pet hair. For me, they complete an outfit, but not for everybody else. I have waters. I have a large water as well as a small water. I also have an atlas in my car, and I keep it in one of these plastic giant Ziploc baggy things. I got it from the dollar store. I think it's one of those vacuum seal ones, but it's kind of double duty because it keeps my atlas protected in case the water leaks, and sometimes you just need a really big bag, so it comes in handy. I also have some paper cones for when I need to add oil to my car. You can get them online, or you can ask, your local gas station for a couple of extra. Most gas stations don't care. You might have to pay a couple cents, but the ones I go to don't care. And one of my favorite things in this kit is this tackle box. It's a deep, kind of like wide and deep tackle box. I used to get them from Walmart. They're made by Plano, but now Walmart, at least the Walmart by me doesn't carry them. But you can get them, I think I've seen them on Jet, and you can buy them online. I like it because it's see-through. You can see what you're keeping in here, and I just keep a bunch of extras. You can use a bag. You don't have to use a tackle box. I have things like a washcloth or extra socks. You never know if your feet get wet, or if you go over to somebody's house and they don't allow shoes and you don't want to be barefoot. They've come in handy for me for a few times. I also carry a little package of Band-Aids and a bag that has some miscellaneous items in it, little odds and ends like an extra hair tie or some nail clippers. I have a wall charger in there in case you need to charge it at somebody's house. I have a knife, just little things that you might need, in case, because it's an in case kit, right? You get the point. In case stuff. I have a dog leash, and I also have some extra medicines. I have some pain reliever in here, some Excedrin. I have some antacids, a Alka-Seltzer because I get car sick. Oh boy, do I get car sick sometimes. Some anti-diarrheal medicine because nobody got time for that. And this little container has two things I think everybody should carry. It is Benadryl and aspirin. I'm allergic to shellfish. I've also had to give out my Benadryl for people who've been stung by bees. It's just come in handy a few times. And aspirin, in case you know anybody that has heart problems, or if you've ever been around somebody who has had a heart attack, aspirin can save their life if you administer it fast enough. I also have some bags, a Ziploc bag and an extra trash bag because, sometimes you're out and about and you just really need that. And another thing I think everybody should have in their car is gloves, plastic gloves. Now, it sounds kind of weird, but other than for really nasty messes, and if you've ever pulled over to help at an accident scene, you're going to know that they can be really bloody and messy affairs. So having a pair of gloves on hand is a good way to keep yourself from being at risk for bloodborne diseases. And it sounds gruesome, but it's true. You really should carry some gloves in your car. If anything out of this kit, carry that. I also have some bandages and some tape for the bandages, just in case, you get an extra good cut. And the thing I probably use the most out of this kit is this little mint melt case that I repurposed for holding my Q-tips and my toothpicks. People always want toothpicks in my car for some reason. I don't know why. I also have these little disposable toothbrushes that you just add water and it just kind of brushes your teeth. I have some hand sanitizer and some lotion in there. I also carry some pet food. If you're going to carry pet food, then you do want to make sure that you are changing it out every couple of months, because the oils in it can spoil and you don't want to make your, fur baby sick. So just be conscious about that. And I also have a tape measure in my car. This comes in handy a lot because we always seem to be tape measuring things. I don't really know why. I have a pad and some utensils. I hate going through a drive-thru or something. They forget my utensils. It drives me nuts. So I have some in here. And that's pretty much all that I have in the box. It's pretty basic, just things that I would need in case I didn't have them. Tip number 2. Don't get stuck in the dark. And by that, I mean have multiple flashlights in your car. I have 4 in my car. One of them is in my trunk. One is in my center console. This one I keep right next to me because I want to be able to find it in the dark in case you're in a crash. And sometimes you can't get into your trunk. If, an accident happens, your trunk is stuck closed. This one has a flashlight and those red emergency lights in case you need to, stop traffic or something. And I just keep it right in the center console because it's easy to find. It always stays in this one spot and I could literally find it in the dark. I also keep one in my glove box as well as in the back in case passengers need one. The reason I have so many is pretty simple. I'm probably scarred. When I was 16, my in-laws and I got into a car crash. It was in the dark, in the middle of nowhere, and we couldn't find the flashlight. And once we did, we couldn't get it to stay on. So having multiple flashlights is just like a security thing, and it's smart. You should have more than one. Tip number 3, the cheat sheet. Inside my glove box, I keep a poly envelope that holds my car insurance and my registration information, so it's all easy in one spot, easy to find. But that's not all that I keep in here. I keep a little piece of paper that I call my car cheat sheet, and it's basically just a little piece of paper that I took the time to go over with my roommate and my uncle and some friends, whoever you want to go over with, that answer some basic questions about your car. Now, if you're a dude or you know a lot about cars, you probably aren't going to need this. But if you're anything like me, I'm not a mechanic. And I don't even normally take care of my car. My roommate takes care of my car. He tells me when I need to go get an oil change, or he checks my fluids and he checks my tires, and I don't ever have to worry about it unless he tells me to. But sometimes if I call him up and say, hey, I'm gonna head to the city, which is an hour away from my house, he'll say, oh, check your oil first. I know how to check it, so I check it. I need oil. But then I get to the store and I'm like, I can't remember what kind of oil I need or what color fluid am I supposed to put in there? Just basics. And some people just really don't even care to know. But if you take the time to make a cheat sheet, you never have to look dumb at the store, or you never have to wonder or waste time trying to find out the information that you need. And it's pretty basic stuff. You can type it up, you can be as neat as you want. I just took the time to write it down. It's not a big deal. Things like oil type, coolant type, transmission fluid type, engine size. Your engine size. Now you may wonder, Sage, why do I need to know my engine size? Let me tell you this story. One time I needed a battery and I went to the store And I got in line, I waited in this big long line, and I got to the cashier, and I need a battery, this is what kind of car I have, this is what year I have, and he was like, okay, what kind of engine size do you have? And I'm like, I have no idea, I don't know. And there's all these people behind me in line, like, come on lady. The dude had to come and help me find what kind of engine size I had, because I had no clue how to find that out. And all the people behind me were not very amused. You should also know what your tire pressure should be, as well as have information on hand, anything that is relative to purchasing a new tire, like what kind of tire you have, how many lugs, is it all year, anything that you would need to purchase one or give out to somebody who is going to purchase one for you. Another thing is that, like, sometimes if you think that you're having an issue with your car, I jotted down some notes of like how long I'm supposed to wait before I can check my oil after running my car. Because if you check it right after you turn your car off, you're not going to get an accurate reading. Or how long you have to wait before you need to check before you can open up the coolant. Because if you open up the coolant, it could come up and burn you. It could scald you. I also jotted down some notes about my jumper cables and how to use them, because I can't always remember how to use them offhand. So those are just little tips and, you know, little things like that. Also, get your mechanic's information. If you are in your normal area and you're having car issues, you don't want to have to like make the tow truck people or the insurance people decide where you're going to go. You're going to ask your husband or your roommate or your uncle or your sister or whatever, and you're going to find out a place that you want to go to if you don't already have an established place that you take your car to, and get their name, their number, and their address. That way, when you have an insurance, if you're having a problem, you can tell the insurance or you can tell the tow company, this is exactly where I want to go, and you don't waste anybody's time, including your own. Another thing that I suggest is that you talk to your people, the people around you, whether it's your dad or whatever, and get suggestions for local places, for local services. Like, I like my mechanic, but it's cheaper for me to go somewhere else to get my tires, so I go somewhere else to get my tires. If I like my mechanic, but I don't buy my batteries there, I go somewhere else because I can find the same kind of battery for a cheaper price. If I need to be towed or if I need someone to take me to one of those places, I have that information. You're also going to want some emergency contact information. Okay, let's get real for a second. Accidents happen. It's just the way of the world. It's gonna happen to you eventually. And sometimes you don't have your cell phone at the end of the accident. Like, it gets flown out, it gets broken, you can't find it, you don't have a number, you don't have a way to get a hold of a loved one. So if you just take the time and write down some numbers, some phone numbers, some contact information for the people, or one or two people that could at least help you or could get the word out to your family, that can be helpful, because you're not always going to come out of a crash with your phone. And we're so dependent on our phones, we don't have to remember phone numbers anymore. And sometimes after a crash, you can't think of a number because you're just so, This may not apply to you, depending on your area. I live in an area that is high risk for fire, and so because fires happen, I have been evacuated from my home more than once in my life. And it's important that people in our community know where the local Red Cross staging center is. If there's a fire, where's the most likely place that you're going to be going? Jot down the contact information for the people that you're gonna be wanting to contact in case there's a disaster in your area, especially if there's a certain type that's common in your area. So that's it. That's just my little cheat sheet, and like I said, I just keep it in my registration and insurance thing. It's always right there, it's always handy, and I know exactly where it is in case I need any of the information that's here. Walk into the mechanic's shop and I have that information in my hand, and I don't have to depend on, does my roommate answer his phone number? Does my uncle answer his phone? You know what I'm saying? You have what you need right away. Well, I hope you liked my video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button. And would you do a girl a favor and hit that share button? I'm a new YouTuber and would appreciate the opportunity that would give me. And also, join me on my other forums. I have a Facebook page, my channel here on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Well, thanks for stopping by my house. I'll see you next time.